Let's get those score predictions for tomorrow's game down in the comments of today's show. Michigan versus Maryland at the Big House. Big noon kickoff. Joel Klatt, Gus Johnson will be in Ann Arbor at Michigan Stadium calling this one. Let me know your score predictions. I'm trying to remember what my score prediction was the other day. I think I said 45-17 or maybe 52-17 was mine. Let me know yours down in the comments. All right, we are going to talk recruiting and then some injury and offensive game plan rumors going into tomorrow's game. All coming up on the show right now. I am your host, James Yoder. It is the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports here on Friday, September 23rd. We've got a lot to talk about, including rumors heading into tomorrow's game. We talked about the big injury rumors the last couple days, so I think you guys are well-versed on that. But there are a lot of players out there that haven't got as much run as we thought they would or missed last game that we will talk about their status on the injury front. But I did want to start today's show talking about Michigan football recruiting and this man, Nyckoles Harbor. His high school football coach has called him in a recent interview this week the LeBron James of high school football. Now, he's not the number one player in the class. He wouldn't necessarily go to the NBA and be a top 10 player like LeBron James did, of course, almost 20 years ago at this point. But he is making his official visit to Michigan this weekend, and all signs indicate that his Michigan, LSU, and South Carolina are his finalists, right? The player from out of the city of Washington, D.C., also considering Maryland, also considering a few other schools, but it seems like Michigan, LSU, South Carolina, his top schools. Top 10 player overall, the number one ranked athlete, right? That doesn't mean he's the best, athlete if you don't follow recruiting there. Is really, he can play in a number of positions, right? He's not necessarily a wide receiver. It doesn't mean necessarily he jumps the highest and runs the fastest, although he is a track superstar. And the reason why his high school coach called him the LeBron James, maybe not in fame perspective, but 225 pounds, 6'5", is the best wide receiver on his high school, in that area, east coast of the country, maybe the best wide receiver in all of high school football if he played that primarily, or it might be the best defensive end, okay? And he's also a track star, right? Runs about 10.6, 10.700 as a 17-year-old. So he is looking for a program, according to an interview that his family did with a number of recruiting sites this week. Football, academics, they always say that until they commit to Florida State or something like that. And then it's really for football and $100 bills in an envelope. And lastly, the track program. So it's tough to say, right? Where does South Carolina, where does LSU? I think LSU typically has better track programs, but neither school necessarily the academics that Michigan puts up. So this will be Michigan's opportunity. To get a commitment or to maybe take the lead. A lot of insiders have said, well, Michigan is tied or is in the lead with South Carolina right now for his services. One thing to keep an eye on, though, is he does not at this point intend to enroll early because he wants to participate in the spring track season in high school. So this recruitment may drag out into February and not the early signing in December. So unlikely to make a commitment this weekend, but Michigan needs to make a big impact. So you're at the game, bring it all. Make sure you're cheering at the top of your lungs. For the third straight class, 2023 with Dante Moore, 2024 with CJ Carr, and now 2025, the state of Michigan, which to my knowledge has not had a five-star recruit at quarterback in the internet era. The last one I think prior to 2023 was Drew Henson back in 1998. They've got another five-star quarterback in the top 25, or in the 2025 class, and that is Bryce Underwood from Belleville High School, folks. The number 3 player overall in the class in the 24/7 Sports composite rankings, which kind of, blends together all the different recruiting services where they have a certain athlete. Now, he'll be on campus. He has not visited Michigan for a game since he's been in high school, right? But this is only the second year, right? 2025 class, that means you're a sophomore in high school. Led his team, right? Led Belleville as a true freshman to the state championship, champions last year as a true freshman, as a quarterback, throwing for 37 touchdowns, I read, about 2,800 yards, and only 3 interceptions as a freshman in high school, 6'2", 200 pounds. Visited Michigan State for their Friday night opener against Western Michigan and is slated to be going down to Alabama in 2 weeks for the Alabama-Texas A&M game on October 8th. Since he's only a sophomore, all these trips, they're in-state ones, not a big deal. Alabama one, a little more money. All out of pocket, right? Because he cannot take official visits until the summer prior to his senior year. So just one thing to keep in mind on, right? Or keep your eye on. CJ Carr right now ranked number 13 overall player in 2024 in the composite ranking. Dante Moore is like number 3 at this point because he's been kind of seen his stock go up. And now we've got the number 3 player overall here. So 3 quarterbacks, 3 straight classes, top 15 players, 5-star quarterbacks. Jim Harbaugh better land one of them. That's all I'm saying. Maybe Bryce Underwood is the last opportunity, although high school coach Jermaine Crowell, former Detroit Lions wide receiver, has been known to be an active Michigan hater and steering his players to other schools. A lot of guys from Belleville have gone down to SEC schools. So hopefully Michigan can make some sort of impact and a good impact on him coming up on Saturday. I want you guys to let me know, Bryce Underwood attending his first Michigan game as a high school football player last year, this year. And I guess the earliest he would have done it would have been 7th grade, right? No games when he was an 8th grader in 2020. But I want to know from you guys. Type me if you've ever attended a game at Michigan Stadium. And if you do type me, let me know the last time you were there. What game, what year was your last game you attended? So go down, type me, and then what game was the last one you attended at Michigan Stadium. The Wolverines are a 17-point favorite coming up tomorrow. I called it early in the week. My lock of the century, of the year, of the week, of today. My second lock of the century this year so far. First half line, 15.5 points against Colorado State. Easily had that one. 23 points what Michigan scored. They could have scored 60 if they wanted to. I'm putting the 17-point spread for Michigan on this one. I think they win anywhere from 24 to 35 points, somewhere in that range. I think they cover that 17. I don't want to say with ease, but they will cover it. I am betting on this one. Recommend that you guys do too. If you want to have a little more fun, make the games mean a little bit more. Don't bet anything you don't have, but if you are going to bet, go ahead and do it with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Get that deposit bonus, 125% deposit bonus. Best in the game. Promo code GOBLUE. No spaces, just how you see it on screen. Go to chatsports.com/GoBlue. It'll redirect you to the partnership page there for BetUS. Promo code GOBLUE. You put 125% deposit bonus, extra money sitting in there. So if you lose your first couple bets, folks, you still have a bunch of cash sitting in there waiting for you for more bets. You're not, spending your whole bankroll if you start off 0-3, 0-4 on your first few bets. Chatsports.com/GoBlue. Make sure you use that promo code GOBLUE, no spaces, for 125% deposit bonus. Let's take the rumors. Going to kind of dart through these really quickly going into tomorrow's game, what we're hearing about the team. And I'll be honest with you here before I dive into all 4 of these is there's not a ton to know about the defense right now, right? They're rotating in so many guys. I think something like 50 players on defense have played through 3 games. It's not even a joke. 50 defensive players have gotten in the game so far. And they're rotating in defensive linemen, linebackers, and wide receivers. Secondary players in the secondary, as if they're starters all game. So we don't know a ton about the defense. I think we'll know a ton this week. We'll have more to report going forward. So everything here is on the offense. Number 1, Donovan Edwards will be in uniform tomorrow after not playing last week against UConn. Will be available. We all remember last year as a true freshman set Michigan's record for receptions in a game by a running back. 10 catches, 170 yards, and a touchdown versus Maryland. He'll be in uniform. Will be available. Maybe he won't play, right? Maybe Michigan gets off to a 2-touchdown lead in the first quarter. They say, we don't need Donovan to win this one. Let's not risk it. Him re-injuring that ankle and everything that happened against Hawaii on September 10th. Number 2, the offense and the offensive coordinators have, from what we've heard, really bonded together and really pushed Jim Harbaugh to give them as much and close to a full game together as they possibly can, right? Without Cade McNamara coming in, still trying to get some sort of reps to stay, relatively in a battle or really stay relatively fresh in case anything were to happen to J.J. McCarthy down the line. Cade's not going to play. He's not going to play this week. He's not going to play next week, and that could go for a couple more weeks after that. So who is going to come in to get reps? They really need to get Donovan Davis Warren. They really need to get any of these other quarterbacks, Alex Orji, a bunch of snaps. I really think with the offensive players and offensive coordinators have pushed to Jim Harbaugh, let's let him play, at least into the middle of the fourth quarter, even if we're up 3 or 4 touchdowns, to make sure this team, after 4 straight road games, can go into Iowa next week, Indiana the week after, and be a cohesive unit and not really playing a full game together for the first time on the road at Iowa, because that could potentially be a recipe for disaster. Stick with us tomorrow, folks. If you haven't watched yet, we are the fastest Michigan football post-game show on Earth and Mars. We'll have a show up for you 20 to 30 minutes right after Michigan, Maryland tomorrow right here on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet. YouTube.com/Michigan TV. If you have, send a link to a friend. Say, hey, watch the show tomorrow. This guy, James, he does a bang-up job there on YouTube. And if you subscribe, of course, turn those notifications on so you can get a little alert on your phone when we publish that video. But we will have a video for you on Saturday after the game and then our overreaction Sunday like we do every single week. I'm keeping my eyes on Andrel Anthony tomorrow. I've got a pretty good track record at getting a little intel on the offense so far this year and giving you guys that info and it coming true, right? 2 weeks ago, I said, keep an eye out for Roman Wilson. Absolutely went off in that game against Hawaii. Weeks prior to that, I said, look for Michigan to easily cover this first point spread. This week, we've been focusing on Andrel Anthony. Jim Harbaugh put out the word to Anthony. Maybe there was some attitude issues. I'm not going to speculate on that, but said you need to block your ass off in these first few games. He's been in there a ton. Take a look at the snaps. People have said, well, Andrel Anthony, only 1 catch so far this year. Is he not playing? He's been playing. You've seen number 1 in there a ton. 3rd most snaps, almost double the snaps as Michigan's star wide receiver, at least one of 2 star wide receivers, Roman Wilson, who's only got 40 this year. But with him having the 3rd most snaps at wide receiver this year, he's certainly got on the field, and Michigan just hasn't made him a priority or a target in the passing game. Most of his snaps, more than 50%, but I think I read a stat, it's like 71% of the snaps he's been in the game, or 74, have been running plays. So he's getting there with that second unit, and it's a lot of times when Michigan's done passing the ball for the most part, and they're running. He certainly has proved to Jim Harbaugh, it seems, that Harbaugh mentioned specifically how good the second wide receiver unit has done blocking and the first wide receiver unit as well. I think this is a game that Michigan finally targets Andrel Anthony. So if he has 5 or more catches after only having 1 the entire year, you can say, Yoder, you son of a gun, you must have tapped Jim Harbaugh's phone line again like you did a few years back. And you know what's going to happen with this offensive game plan. But keep an eye out for number 1. I think he's going to have finally some targets tomorrow, and if he makes some plays, he could have another breakout game like he did last year against Michigan State. I will be live tweeting tomorrow, as always, some highlights, some takeaways, some analysis all throughout the game. And then, of course, I'll tweet out the link to the YouTube postgame show. So if you're on Twitter, follow me at James Yoder. If you're not on Twitter, download Twitter and just follow me, right? It'll be a great experience for you. All Michigan football news, rumors, and I take a couple shots to Ohio State whenever I can. Lastly, keep an eye again for more A.J. Henning at running back, again, meaning he got 1 snap in there last week. And it was really interesting because he ran a reverse where he came around the outside left to right across the screen, got a few yards in there. But then they played a little bit of a hurry-up offense. It wasn't a true necessarily hurry-up, but they huddled back together really quick, got back to the line of scrimmage, and A.J. Henning was right back there at running back. So the game commentators didn't really have a chance to even speculate on it or say, oh, wow, Michigan's got a wide receiver back there at running back. And he took the snap from the backfield, and he got the handoff and took up the middle for a few yards there. That was a test to just see how he acclimated to it. Could he get it done? I don't think that's the only time we're going to see that. I would bet that he has 2 to 3, maybe more carries from a true tailback position tomorrow behind the quarterback. And not just always taking the reverses or end arounds like he has over the past couple of years. So keep an eye out for those things. Donovan Edwards in uniform. See what Michigan does with that first-team offense. Andrel Anthony and A.J. Henning getting more snaps from the running back position. I will see you guys tomorrow, folks, after the game, the fastest post-game show in America. Until then, go Blue.